everyone, as you join us. Thank you for joining us in our preview night. We'll start in just 1 minute. We're waiting for, we have a lot of participants coming in, so I'll make some introductions in just 1 minute. But thank you for joining us this evening, if it's your evening, if not in your day. We'll just start in a minute. And in the meantime, feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat too, to each other, where you're joining us from. And then also those of you who are joining from our community too, feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat too. We'll use the chat function throughout this conversation too, just for your questions and comments. And we're monitoring the chat as well. So feel free to use that as a way of introducing us, introducing yourself to us and interacting with us too. So let's start. And I know people will be joining throughout. So again, welcome to our preview night. And first and foremost, I want to start by saying congratulations to all of you. We're so thrilled that you're considering our program and you're considering our community. I really appreciate these preview nights as a way of us bringing in some perspectives from our program to all of you as you consider us. And we're really, again, thrilled for the prospect of you joining our community. My name is Ekin Yashin. I am the Director of Communication Leadership Program. I've been in this role for a number of years, and uh, I'm also a faculty member in the program, and I teach a number of classes in the program too. So I'll get to interact with you in a number of capacity. Today, I'm really thrilled to be joined by a number of staff members, alumni, and students who are all here to answer your questions. I will introduce them as time comes up, but again, we have a number of our members of our community. So just briefly, let me introduce you actually to our staff that's with us. I have Liao Zhao, who's our Assistant Director of Outreach with us, Heather Werkel, Assistant Director of our Academic Services, Alex Stonehill, was a former student alum who Alex will wear different hats today, both as staff, as our associate director. Alex runs a number of our applied learning and partnership initiatives in the program that make our program so distinct and special. And Alex also completed the program, so he'll share with us a bit about his experience as well. So with that, just a quick preview of what we'll do. I'll give you a brief intro from my perspective about why I'm excited about our program. And I've been, again, engaging with our program for a number of years now, but I really believe that we offer a distinct experience for our students and we evolve every year. And then after that, I'll turn it over to my colleague, Heather Werkel, who'll tell you a little bit about what's coming up next, your kind of next steps now that you're admitted, and after tonight, what happens. Throughout our conversations, though, please submit questions on chat. Because after Heather, I'll introduce you to our wonderful students. Some of whom are about to graduate. Some of them are recently joined our program. I'll introduce them to you in that portion, and I'll ask them a question. But then I'll also ask them some of your questions because they have the student perspective. We'll turn to your questions for about 10 minutes. In the last 20 minutes, we're going to dedicate to you going into breakout rooms in small groups with the students in this session so that you can have more intimate conversations and ask your questions in an interpersonal way. As opposed to just chat. So we will have multiple opportunities for interaction today. So with that, I just want to tell you a little bit and kick it off by sharing with you a little bit about why we're thinking about our program and why we find it special. Lynn, if we could change the slide, I just want to give you first kind of the context in which we find ourselves in. Every year when we welcome new students to our students, of course, as a program in communication leadership, as a program that's really embedded in kind of emerging trends, making sense of places of work and transformation that structures our world. we're constantly thinking about what do we need to be thinking about now as we make sense of our curriculum and experiences in our program. So, as you kind of consider your options and plan to hopefully join us, we find ourselves at this moment, and some of these. Things that I'll mention have been constant and have been happening for a number of years, but other things are more new, right? We are in a world of course, constant changes. That has been the case. Technological, political, and social. There are a lot of different changes that we had to adapt to, from thinking about how we make sense of how we connect to each other at work, to how to connect to audiences of different kinds, how we tell stories with new technologies. We adjust and try to make sense of changes. We also find ourselves in a very global moment where global complexities inform how we make sense of our work, what we produce, how we connect, how we reach to new audiences. Related to both is, all around the world, we're also trying to understand the emergence of new tools. Um, we've been navigating a variety of shifts actually in terms of technologies and media for since the conception of this program. But the past few years, we've been seeing a significant change in the way in which artificial intelligence is coming into our lives, too. And again, as that's coming into our lives, our work conditions are changing. We've also experienced a global pandemic. A lot of workplaces have adapted to that moment, but then also now are trying to rethink different structures of work. Amidst it all, of course, you are, I am sure, in wherever you are and whatever you do, are thinking about also role of communications, how not only technologies facilitate a relationship to us, but how also we connect to others, how what we say resonate with others, how what we produce and what we want to relay stay in the world for longer than a moment. So that's kind of this where we are now. And Lynn, if we could change the slide, considering all those changes and complexities, when we're also thinking about our program, we try to kind of think about, well, what kind of an environment do students need right now, and particularly in master's education, considering that we have a global audience who wants to really lead the change and want to be situated in a complex world. The first of those is, I think, to think about analyzing complexities, right? That we have a lot of, even though there are a lot of changes coming in, we can make sense of it. We can make sense of if there were similar changes in the past, if there will be other changes in the future, right? So, an environment where you can understand and learn to analyze these complexities, I think, is really important. And we also really believe, and I actually personally also believe that in this world, we really need an environment where our experiences and curriculum respond to the changes too. So we don't just take what we teach for granted. And indeed, we see it now, but we see it all around the world. We really need people who actually can be in this moment with us, with whom we can think and collaborate with. So that's definitely an important component of it all. We feel like we're not alone in the moment. And we need access to insights from different practitioners, organizations. What are they doing right now? How are they adapting to the moment? What type of tools, skills are they using? So that's the kind of environment that we need, I think, to make sense of those complexities. And in our program, we take all those into consideration again annually, sometimes monthly, to create a student experience where we are constantly rethinking our design and creating a responsive and thoughtful curriculum. Of course, a lot of our classes have been in the curriculum for a number of years, but we also have a number of classes that responded to the moment to make sure that we can analyze and make sense of the moment together. If Lynn, we can go to my last slide. I just want to kind of give you, now that I mentioned some of the things that are ongoing and the types of environment maybe that we conducive to learning in this moment, I wanted to kind of go over a couple bits that we actually specifically offer in our program. So, first of those is we've been actually thinking and teaching about artificial intelligence, its relationship to communication, content creation, creativity for a number of years. There's such kind of consideration of tools of emerging technology have been embedded in our existing classes, but we also have a lot of specific classes that tries to make sense of emerging trends and technologies such as artificial intelligence. So we have classes that think about artificial intelligence in internal communications, artificial intelligence and copywriting, to name a few of specific focused classes on such changes. But then again, almost all our classes consider the environment that we find ourselves in. And we've been very much experiencing and thinking with this type of change for a number of years. We've hosted a number of events and classes in this realm. Um, I told you about that community bit. Community can seem a bit abstract when you say, "Oh, we offer community." Well, how do we do that? And how do we make sure that people actually have a professional community of support? Well, we create a number of actually opportunities, and we can dive deeper into it in the conversations with our students and with your questions too. We try to create direct opportunities of collaboration between peers, students, between students and alumni, students and faculty, and students and staff. How do we do that? We have a number of programs that highlight our alumni's work, where alumni get to mentor and also connect with students. Our faculty themselves not only teach classes, but are available to think with students as they navigate their next career steps or as they advance their careers. Our staff, again, is there always to think with you one-on-one in a variety of different ways. And then also we have intentionally designed. So our program is in that way very distinct. We don't just allow you to just go to classes and that's it. We have a number of intentional events, opportunities where you collaborate with your peers and get to know them and actually navigate this experience together. We intentionally build the community spaces for you to actually really build lifelong bonds with all of the people in our program that I mentioned. And again, we have really been working hard on creating a curriculum that's centered on analysis and critical reflection about, again, how you do things. So I think we can all take a skill course online. Some of those things are free, right? But going into graduate school and investing in your master's education is about kind of a more holistic approach and thinking about how you can analyze, how you can actually adapt to each moment, because there'll always be changes. So we try to create a curriculum that actually doesn't just take this moment into consideration, but that gives you tools to analyze moments in the future too. So that's another thing that I really think that sets us apart. Also, very exciting for me, I get to work with these individuals a lot. So do our staff and faculty. We have access to a fantastic group of industry leaders. We just launched our advisory board this year. We have members from Google, Microsoft, to name a few larger companies that are in our region, and others like Edelman, which is a communication agency. Leaders of these organizations are also very much invested in our program, are in our advisory board. So as we create experiences and curriculum, we're not just taking our perspective into consideration and our communities, but we're also very much connected to people who are executing everyday projects so that we can, reflect on that in our classes and experiences. Again, our program offers, and one of the exciting things about it is it offers diverse perspectives too. So it's not about one type of job or one type of skill or one type of topic. So for students and for those who we think with in our program, you can still focus if you want to, but you can also explore at this next exciting phase of learning in your journey. So these are some things to give you kind of a broader, big picture reasons to think about our program. But again, we can dive into specifics as we discuss together in this thread and in this meeting. But we're really, again, thrilled to have you here with us. Now that you've been accepted, though, I want to turn it over to my colleague, Heather Werkel, who will be guiding you when you join us, too. She's going to introduce herself, too. To give you a little bit of sense of what comes next and also who you're joining the program with. So, Heather, please share with us those details. Thank you.
Great, thank you again. And hello, everyone. It's nice to see you all here tonight or this morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm Heather Werkel. I am the Assistant Director of Academic Services for ComLead. And so that means that I'm your academic advisor during the program. So helping you make sure that you meet those degree requirements, registering for classes, complying with university policies, all of that while you're moving through the program. So I also run our admissions process. So I was able to pull some data on, who is Cohort 25? And I'm not going to read all of this, just gives you kind of a snapshot. But we have students in this incoming cohort from over 23 different countries. And I might even have a few from our latest group of admits that aren't represented yet here. But all over the world coming to our program. For our domestic students in the US, they're coming from at least 12 different states, so across the country, coming to join our program. And our domestic students are also, majority are Black, Indigenous, or people of color. So we have a very diverse group of students coming in multiple ways. And about a third of our international students have actually earned their bachelor's degrees in the United States. So while officially classified as international students who've already been here for 4 years studying in the US and have decided to stay for graduate school. So that's also an exciting dynamic. People coming into our program also join us from a variety of different fields. So if your major was not communication as an undergraduate, you are in the majority, not the minority. So most of our students actually have a background in some other area. There's just a few examples here, anywhere from business to economics, political science, psychology, world languages. So we welcome that kind of diverse academic viewpoint in the classroom as well. But you've all decided that you want to launch a career or expand an existing career in communication. And that's why you're all here, which is very exciting. So most of our students coming in have graduated within the past 3 years. So we definitely have a more fresh out of undergraduate group of students, but we also have a number of students, about a quarter of our incoming students have earned their bachelor's degree 4 to 10 or more years ago. So we're kind of those mid-career professionals coming back. So if you're in that group, you're also not alone. There's plenty of other folks in that situation. And we're also excited to have returning Huskies always, our double Huskies coming back for a second UW degree, and students who already have a master's degree, maybe in a different field, who are now joining us. So that's just a snapshot of who your cohort is. And now as far as what happens next, so you probably are already aware of this, but May 30th is your deadline to accept your offer. And so that's the date I want to make sure you have in your minds. If you decide you want to join us before then, I strongly recommend accepting your offer, which includes paying that enrollment confirmation deposit as soon as you're sure that you're wanting to join us, because then you can start all the process of onboarding and kind of your enrollment requirements. On that note, you have your steps to enrollment on your application portal page. We also have that outlined on your ComLead New Students site, which is linked from your application portal. So I strongly recommend you read through that. We have a getting started page there that has much more information and kind of screenshots of those pages that you need to go through for your official transcript, immunization requirement, and for international students, the I-20 process. And just a note on that for our international students, you will get the invitation to join the My ISSS platform, which is where you submit, all of your immigration documents, about a week after you've paid that enrollment confirmation deposit. So you do want to make sure to do that, as soon as you know you're joining us, because it'll be about a week after that you can actually start the I-20 request process. I will be holding pre-registration advising sessions in mid-June before your class registration opens. So class registration for new graduate students starts June 23rd, and we will give you all the information you need to choose your classes before that. And again, I'll have a number of advising sessions that week, virtual sessions so you can join from anywhere at all different times to try to accommodate all the time zones that are represented in our incoming cohort. You'll have new student orientation in late September, which we'll be giving you more information about that over the summer. And then classes start September 24th. So that's just a little look ahead at what to expect in the coming months and kind of those big deadlines. And with that, I think I will turn it back to Ken to talk with our current students.
Great. Thank you so much, Heather, for introducing us to what comes next, as well as to the community that's joining us next year. So we're really, really excited to welcome you all again. And the people who are going to join me next are valuable members of our community who's been in your shoes a few years ago, recently. I want to introduce them to you. You'll also have, they'll answer your questions that you share in chat, as well as they'll be also have some time with you in smaller groups at the end of the session too. We have four current and former students that's with us, and I'm just going to ask Lynn if it's okay to spotlight all those who are with us so that they're on the screen with me. And then Lynn is also, by the way, we have Lynn is a representative. A lot of people in this call have worked with a variety of opportunities within our program. We leverage the actually experiences of our community. So that's really, really exciting. I want to kind of ask them to introduce themselves, and I'll just ask a question to start off the conversation. But in the meantime, when you're getting to meet these most important members of our community, our current and former students, and yourselves, of course, our incoming students, I will also encourage you all to start posting your questions in the chat. These can be questions that you want everyone to hear, that you want answered tonight. I'm joined today by four wonderful individuals. And maybe I can start with you, Lynn, to introduce yourselves, just to let us know who you are.
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Ling, and I'm from Cohort 24, TAC MCCL. A little bit about my background. I have over 3 years of experience working in the PR and digital media field, where I specialize in media relations, content creation, and campaign strategy. I'm passionate about storytelling, branding, and using communication to bridge the gap between businesses and their audience. I'm very enjoying my time here in ComLead, and I'm very glad to be here sharing about my experience with many of you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Next up, I'm going with the order that I am at least seeing everyone in my screen. Alex, I could have introduced you a little bit, but if you could just share a bit more about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Alex Stonehill. I was a part of Cohort 19 and earned the Communities and Networks degree. I'm also the Associate Director of the program. So I've been working with ComLead as a faculty member for a number of years, and then in this staff role. And prior to that, I was an international journalist and an editor for media publications. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Alex. April.
Yeah, hi, I'm April and I'm in the MCDM track from Cohort 24. And I have a couple years working experience back into China. And also I'm running our programs, WeChat and RedNote account. So for someone who may already know me. And also I'm specialized in marketing. So if you have anything related to like marketing specialized, and you can ask me. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, April. Yeah, again, as you're seeing, everyone has also some ties to the program. We try to engage you as much as possible. Last but not least, Kevin.
Hi, my name's Kevin Laird. I am cohort 23 on the digital media track. Right now, I'm working as the marketing and communications manager for a startup game company. founded by an industry veteran of over 40 years called Endless Adventures. Before that, I got my undergrad at UW Bothell, focusing on UI UX with in the interactive media design bachelor's degree. And it's been a wonderful ride. I'll be graduating next month. So
We can't wait to
it's,
celebrate you.
oh yeah, but you're never getting rid of me.
I know that too. I can't wait. It's a lifelong bond that we have with
Yes.
everyone. So thrilled. And I'll go. So what I'll do is maybe I'll go in the same order that we went and just asking you all just to, I know you'll dive into deeper conversations in the breakout, but you were in the same shoes as everyone here with us today. So how did you decide to, and why did you decide to choose this master's program? So how did you make that decision? Maybe Lynn, we can start with you.
Yes, the reasons why I chose the ComLead programs because of its unique blend of strategy, storytelling, and innovation. And unlike many graduate programs that focus heavily on the theory on research, ComLead stood out as a hands-on, professionally driven programs that foster collaborations with industry expert and real-world client. What truly sealed the deal for me was the program's emphasis on both personal growth and leadership in the communication. As for me, coming from a PR background, I was looking for programs that could not only deepen my expertise in digital communication, but also provide practical experience working with Seattle-based client. I'm very excited to be a part of Comlead to further develop my skill, gain global perspective, and connect with a diverse community.
Oh, Ekin, you're
I
muted.
was muted, of course, all these years in Zoom, and I still see my Zoom. The
I
Zoom.
think that happens to us all.
So again, I'm going to ask all of you the same question. Alex, I'll ask you that next. But before that, I want to just remind everyone again, right after we hear from everyone, I'll ask everyone to ask their questions in the chat, or start asking their questions in the chat, and I'll read them out and direct them to both our students and staff and whoever is in this call who can answer them. So Alex, how did you make this decision? You were already engaged with the program. How did you end up, deciding to pursue this degree?
Yeah, it certainly wasn't a hard decision to choose ComLead versus other graduate programs because I was already working here. But the decision to just pursue a master's degree was, like I said, I'd had a career in media and journalism, and so I felt like I sort of like knew a lot about the content production side, but I really wanted to understand better, like how to apply that in more of a leadership context and understand like the sort of like audience and the people involved. So the communities and networks degree really was a good fit for me. Um, and there was a lot of, I knew one part of the curriculum really well, kind of the storytelling part of the curriculum that I taught pretty well. But then there was this whole world of classes in the CN degree and elsewhere in marketing, in communication for advocacy was one of the classes I took, building successful online communities, and then even some of the DM classes like psychology of user experience. And all of those helped me just kind of see how much more there was sort of to a career in communication. And they really have been a big part of the way that I do my job now. It's completely different than I was doing it before I earned the degree, and I've had opportunities to put some of that understanding of audience and marketing to work, and how to like sort of build community for change, and some of our applied learning programs that we have, getting to participate in and advise those, especially like during the pandemic. I got the chance to work on national campaigns around mask adoption and vaccination, vaccination for pregnant people, like all sorts of really like exciting projects that I never would have gotten to do, or like felt like I had the sort of expertise and the understanding to do had I not earned the degree.
Fantastic. Thank you, Alex. April, can you tell us how you made the decision and what made you choose our program?
Yeah, first, personally, Seattle is a beautiful city. Yeah, just totally personally. So that's why I choose it. And Seattle has the best summer in the world. And professionally, I look through our website in advance, and I love our course setting because you can have a general view communication. I mean, even I am interested in marketing, but I still have a lot of chance to choose like UI, UA, or like some law and policy. I mean, you can have a general study experience about the communication, and also you can have a more wild vision communication. And also, I want to, since we are based in Seattle, and we have a lot of opportunity to have our guest speaker, and they come from different industries. And some this quarter I take the advanced marketing, so we have the guest speaker from some career path. You can learn the career path and also the working experience. And this is different compared with my before study experience. Yeah.
Thank you, April. And last but not least, uh, before I turn to Kevin, right after Kevin, I'm going to turn to your questions. So feel free to share them in the chat. We'll answer any of your questions in this for the first 10, 15 minutes of open to everyone. And then afterwards in smaller groups in the breakout groups with these four wonderful individuals in that setting. So, Kevin, how did you make this decision? How did you decide to kind of pursue a master's degree with us?
Well, I guess it's not exactly a simple answer, but I'll try to keep it brief. After I got my undergraduate at UW-Bothell, I got a job at a web hosting company where I was doing UI UX work for our customer service section of the company. I quickly rose up the ranks to management, but I started feeling stuck. So that prompted me to start looking for higher education. And I wanted to go with communication leadership because of a few reasons. One is its interdisciplinary approach of like not just focusing on one profession and being able to think critically and combine these different experiences that these classes offer to basically like be able to do anything I need to do, whether it's video editing, marketing, UI UX design, and then I can combine all of those skills together to improve everything I do. And then I think the biggest part is probably the community. I met with the faculty, some of the professors, saw the classes, saw how there was like First Fridays, joined the newsletter, and just all of these different things of like really the ComLead's effort to get people to participate in the community of ComLead and bring in alumni and over 20 years of network is just an incredible thing to have. Um, and not I don't think a lot of programs have this as big of a what's the word focus on that community and bringing in alumni and making sure everyone's always connected. And it's just been a great experience, and uh, I am proud to call myself almost an alumni.
Yes, and again, to Kevin's point, and again, please share your questions anytime in the chat. I'm seeing that there's some questions came to Heather directly, but feel free to share it in the chat too, and then I'll start. I'm seeing that they're coming now. But to Kevin's point too, right? Our program has been around for now 20. We started in 2001, so 20. We are welcoming you in our 25th cohort of students. So 25 cycles of students have already successfully and wonderfully completed our program. And we have now over, I think, 1,400, 1,300 alumni all around the world who are, really excited to also connect with you. In that part too, alumni really invest time and energy to our program. Um, so I'm starting the questions. I'm going to direct the first one that Heather shared in the chat to actually Heather maybe, and then we can all chime into the different questions. Heather, the questions about taking 15 credits. Would that be overwhelming? And what's the estimated class hours and workload like? So I'll ask you that first. If a student came to you in advising, would you recommend them taking 15 credits?
No, absolutely not. Please don't do that. That would be my first response. So this is a common question, especially as we get people that are coming from semester schools that might be used to taking more classes than you do at a quarter school. So UW operates on the quarter system, or folks that are coming from undergraduate programs, maybe even at UW, where you take a lot more credits than you do at the graduate level. So full-time graduate status, and I just realized I don't think I'm appearing for people because we have spotlights on, but hopefully you can still hear me, I think. So the full-time graduate status at UW is 10 credits. So especially for your first quarter, and I would strongly, strongly, strongly recommend take 10 credits, no more. Like don't even do 11 or 12, like take 10 credits is what we would say for your first quarter. We do occasionally have students that will choose to take a little above that, starting maybe their second quarter or their third quarter. They might do 12 credits or 13 credits in those quarters. But definitely for fall, plan on 10 credits. The degrees go really fast. So there's 45 credits for the MCDM or MCCN. You're done in 5 quarters. So it's about 15 months. Or 18 months if you take summer off. So it's already very fast when you go through the program at kind of that normal pace. As far as class hours and workload, like I said, 10 credits is full-time, and the general rule at UW is you can expect about 3 hours per week per credit. So if you're taking 10 credits, that's about 30 hours per week that you can expect to devote to class time, readings, assignments. Well, so that's why that is full-time, student status. And then the classes meet mostly in the evenings from 6 to 10, one day a week, kind of Monday through Thursday night. Or on the weekends, we have Saturday classes that meet 9 to 5 every other week. So they meet kind of twice as long, half as often. So I definitely recommend checking out our classes page to get a sense of what are the class times and days. Our autumn classes are already posted, so you can look at those and start thinking about, what schedule might make sense for you for those 10 credits for full time.
Thank you so much, Heather. And we have wonderful questions. Go ahead.
If I may add on to that, what's been really successful or helpful for me is if you want to do more work, don't take 15 credits. Don't do that. Totally agree. Don't do that. But if you're taking like 10 credits, ComLead has what's called the ComLead Consultancy Program, where we partner with different organizations in the Seattle area, both paid and unpaid. And Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but like you're working for UW, so even if you're international, you can still do those consultancy jobs or volunteer opportunities. So you're building your network as you're going to class, and you can view it as like an internship. And that is an incredible way of ensuring that you are going to have opportunities when you graduate. Is participating in those ComLead consultancy programs.
Yes, thank you so
That's
much.
done.
I totally agree, Kevin, and I'm going to connect it to a question actually, and then answer it with Alex, if that's okay, Alex. One of our participants and incoming students asked about if international students, and I'll also ask maybe Lynn's quick perspectives, do internships in the daytime besides taking evening courses, do they always need to apply for a CPT for that? So I'll just quickly answer that, and then maybe I'll ask you to talk a little bit about consulting. And Lynn, maybe you could just share a bit about your role as well. Yes, when you do an outside of a university internship, you need to get a CPT, and that's at the end of your first year. However, and Heather, please correct me if the information I'm sharing is also not 100% correct. But you're welcome to University of Washington have a number of jobs that we curate and that you also will be exposed to that are directly in our field. So a lot of our students, as soon as they arrive here, actually get jobs within our program, but also at University of Washington at large. For example, we've had students who manage social media channels for Foster School of Business, right? Or the Meany Center's strategy for communication. Within their first few months, actually, they were able to get jobs as international students, robust jobs on campus. They're directly, by the way, one of our kind of exciting parts is they have those opportunities right away on campus. So that would not be a problem. So that's one bit. But Alex, can you just tell Kevin started talking a little bit about it. Alex leads the consulting program. So say if you're an international student and started the program, could you work for other organizations and how does consulting do that?
Yeah, again, the purpose of that program is really to address this. We're at ComLead all about applied learning and getting to take the things that you learn in classes in that theoretical and make them more practical. Sometimes that happens inside of classes themselves, but certainly alongside of that, we have this robust consultancy program where students can apply really from the first, their first quarter, especially for volunteer programs, and then a little bit later into their second quarter for paid positions as well. And those are advised and like sort of curated, compiled, and advised by our staff. There's a student staff for the consultancy as well that are paid positions. And so those are considered on-campus positions. And thus, yeah, even if you're an international student, you have access to do them without applying for CPT, because it is true that you're not eligible for CPT until after your, Heather, is it after your third quarter or second quarter? I can't.
Yeah, after spring quarter of your first year. So you have to complete 3 full-time quarters first.
So for example, those can be anything from on-campus opportunities, doing marketing or communication for other units on campus. They can be, I mean, Kevin did a paid consultancy project that I think spanned 2 quarters for the Museum of Flight, helping do the user experience design for a new exhibit that they were putting together about living in space. So sometimes they're like very cool and interesting, challenging projects that also serve to help you. They help you build your portfolio, but they also serve to help you get a sense of like what you want to be doing post-graduation, and getting a little bit of a taste for what that professional work might look like.
Exactly. And for example, Lynn is in her first year right now with us, but already has been in a role. So Lynn, can you tell us in your first year what you were able to do so that that can serve as an example? I know April did too, but just for the sake of time, and I want to get to a few more questions before you get to talk to everyone, please.
Yes, beside being a student, I'm gratefully also an event coordinator working for ComLead programs. My work is basically what is said in the title. I coordinate and organize event for ComLead and also the consultancy as well. During my first quarter, which is last autumn, I volunteer for positions working with a real client for the consultancy. It gave me a hands-on experience and I got to see how Seattle's companies work and experience the dynamic as well. So I very encourage you to look out for the job board of the consultancy to see any positions that fit with your backgrounds and like experience yourself. I think that is like a great, amazing opportunities for you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. And I see Jackie's question, and I think I'll combine it with Sonia's too about the size and the space of our program. So our typical class size is about 115 to 120 students. Having said that, we have most of our classes are 20 people or less. With the exception of the first class you take as a cohort, which is with me. And in that too, you do a lot of small group work. The rest of our programs and classes are all smaller, so 20 people. For those of you who are coming from other universities or University of Washington, we retain a much smaller class size than many also of master's programs. So almost all classes, with the exception of mine, are about no more than 20 students, maybe 22 if it's a very popular class, but we try to keep it contained in that kind of really intimate setting so that you can really learn. So we offer more classes because of that. Some programs will offer like a few classes in larger sizes. We really believe in that ratio of student to instructor to be smaller so that you can learn more directly from your instructors. But even in our larger classes, just to maybe touch upon Sonia's question about, Seattle's campus size. Our program is very interpersonal. Finding classes, we offer multiple classes. Our staff is there to navigate this opportunity with you one-on-one. Sonia, we all see our students and meet with them periodically. We have tons of events that introduces you to your cohort members. We have quarterly social events, as well as community events and professional events that allow you to get to know one another. So in its size, I wouldn't say it feels like, you are in a large campus. It in fact feels like a really tight-knit community, which I think our students can also share in the breakout sessions. Now, there's a question from Celia that I want to address too. This is to Kevin and to April, your MCDM students, and Celia is joining in, coming from a different background. And Celia says, I know building a strong portfolio is really important. So I wanted to ask you if you have any advice for accumulating a solid portfolio during my time in the program. So how did you guys kind of got projects together to represent in the portfolio? April, maybe we can start with you and then turn to Kevin after.
Yeah, I can go first. First, because they different level and different background, you still can choose to live class and you can just learn from very beginning. And also I love our course. The second thing is like every course we have some final project, and those kind of project can last for a time and you can just use it as your portfolio, and just don't use a lot of material. You still have a lot of resources to build your own.
Thank you, April. What about you, Kevin? How did you?
Yeah. So my advice is document everything. Everything you do, write it down. You always, when you're going into a class, you always need to be thinking about what kind of story do I want to tell for what I did for this class. What was day one like? What was the last class like? What was the teacher like? And then document all of the homework that you did and put that all together into a story for your portfolio. One thing that I really like to do when I'm talking about like my resume or like bullet points or whatever is the STAR method of like situation, task, action, result. Like, what was the situation? What was I tasked to do? What did I do? And then what was the result of that? And regardless of like what, like whether there's metrics or not, you can always find a result of like, hey, I got this grade, I invested this amount of time, and these are the results of like what I got. Here's the final product. Like, for example, if you're doing a UX project, uh, document your wireframe, what you drew, and then your prototype, and then like your final fidelity prototype. You always want to show from the start to finish of like what you made, and that will be the baseline of a really good portfolio.
Thank you so much for that, Kevin. And Kevin is also all of our students to showcase their work so thoughtfully, right? By also sharing as they're doing it. I have followed Kevin's work also through his LinkedIn posts, right? Like, yeah, we really encourage our students to really share their experience and tell the story of what they've done too. So that'll be a part of that too. And to Jackie's question, and then we'll divide into groups. Jackie asked us if MCDM program is a STEM program. All our programs are STEM programs, just as a so that means that there's a 24-month extension. So for international students, optional training visa. is extended by 24 months upon completion of any of the tracks of our program, just as an FYI. Now, you'll get to ask these questions in a smaller group, may hopefully ask them in person, kind of connect with one another too. We will first randomly assign you for the first 10 minutes to one of our student and alumni representatives that are here with us today. If your conversation is going well, feel free to stay in that space. If you want to hear another perspective, come back to this room and we'll assign you to another room if you want to change in the 10-minute mark. We'll close all rooms around 12 past, just to say goodbye to you all here. But again, that will be an opportunity for you to get a sense of our community. And thank you, Alex. Also, Alex shared that we have a Screen Summit coming up, which is our end of year showcase of our projects. So you're all welcome to that if you're in town. We will follow up today with the links for you to register, and it's also, we've already shared it on our LinkedIn channel too, so feel free to check that out as well. So with that, I want to turn it to my colleagues to divide you into different breakout rooms. Again, you'll be randomly assigned to a student, but at the end of 10 minutes or so, feel free to come back here to be assigned to another room if you want to talk to someone. So we'll be here. Also, me, Liao, and Heather, if you have lingering questions as well. Thank you again.